people did not do that. They would just create these sigils and give life to them and then use them and then disregard them. They would not dismantle them or deactivate them. And these sigils would become dormant, and they would become scavenger type entities. Meaning they'll take any type of light, any type of energy that they can get so that they can survive. And because they're created by man and not God, they're created in a flawed nature from the beginning. So they are not bound to the constraints of their creation anymore. They're intelligent now. They're always looking for a way of surviving, like most things that are living would do. And because of the act in which they partake of in becoming a scavenger to find ways of surviving, they've morphed into a convoluted construct of what they were originally to be. And these sigils take on a life of their own, and they live in the disembodied world along with the fallen ones. There's many of them. And they create a lot of problems in the world. So much so that there are sigils that people are using that don't know that they're sigils. It's as if these sigils live way beyond the person that created them. They can live indefinitely. They don't have a life cycle unless you give it one. You are acting as God in creating this thing. And people were doing it. And many at this junction in life, it's as if there are some sigils. I don't want to say many, but I believe that there are many. There's got to be many, but there are some sigils that have become extremely powerful. They're not gods. They're sigils that have taken on another aspect of life that has morphed from its original creation and has been fed over time consistently with attention as if it is a being or if it was a being. And they are very powerful. Very powerful. And all of these things were done by way of these fallen ones. At the time they were doing it, it was done in the intention of empowering the people. But these fallen ones can obviously see far into the future. They say, we'll let them feel like they're being empowered. Okay, great. Let them feel as if they're in control. We're playing the long game. So now they got the sigils in place. And the sigils, they own the symbol too, so they are always in control of. Always. They own the initial construct of, because they probably created them. So they are in full control of this sigil. And because their kingdom is not broken up, because they're bound to sigils. Their kingdom is not broken up. They don't have there's no war in their kingdom. They got order in their kingdom. They can manage the flow of who manages these sigils, these symbols that many of the world's systems honor today. And they will go as far as, like I said, creating these golem. These soulless beings. This is what they were doing in Babylon. Sigils, golem, you name it. These soulless beings that were the worker class beings that were supposed to do all the grunt work and all the stuff that people didn't want to do. And the people found it fun. I don't want to say fun. The people found it acceptable. Why? Because it gave them a certain level of comfort. Never spawning any personal level of interest, seemed harmless. And these golem are going around and they're obviously looking different from the people, from human. So people are like, okay, that's a golem. We don't pay that any attention. He or she does all of our grunt work. But then something happened. I don't know what it was. Could it have been a natural disaster? Could it? I don't know. But something happened where these golem have begun mating with the people. Were they off to a secluded area and they secluded them and allowed them to mate amongst people? The people began mating with the golem. They took them away from the general population and allowed them to go to a quarantined area and then allowed them to mate. And then later, in generations and generations and generations later, reintroduce these people to the populous area without knowing that these people have mated with golem. And these people are fascinated and or mesmerized at the beauty of these golem descendants, those that have mated amongst the people. And it becomes popular to mate with these, working to the agenda. Now you've got another aspect, totally controllable by these fallen ones introduced into the population. You got the fallen ones at the top of the pyramid. They have their sigils in place that people honor in the form of spiritual systems. Many of these deities, not many of them, some of these deities are sigils. How do you know the difference? Unless you know the full story of these deities, you won't know what's a sigil and what's not. Once you begin pulling back the layers of the creation of this thing, is it a sigil or is it a deity? Because a deity is an ancestor. It's an ancestor. Someone that was living, that had lived at a particular time and has transitioned. Yet their acts were so monumental in the earth that they are renowned in the world even today. That's an ancestor, friend. Moses, Jacob, Abraham, Adam, Eve, ancestors.